night edition of the Oxford Exxon podcast. I got a little caught off guard there. We never really know who starts the Thursday night show.
No, you're all good. I was looking for a button actually there, so it was okay. We had a little technical issue. Well, it really wasn't technical. It was a user error issue, but it's all fixed. It's all good.
It doesn't take much to do a pretty good T-shirt. Your bear down thing looks pretty sharp.
It is a cool shirt.
That's good.
Yeah, it's a good shirt. Speaking of shirts. So the potato log shirt is going to happen on the MPW Digital shop.
Yes.
We have. I'll let Chase talk you through it a little bit. My mind is suddenly scattered. It's been a day, but we've got it's a freaking phenomenal.
We got the logo earlier today, and it's not bad at all. It's very, very good. It will be live in, I would assume, a day or so. I don't know. The shop did go back live today. However, anybody would like to purchase some of our most popular items when we did the first pre-sale, those back up. It is mpw-digital.myshopify.com, mpw-digital.myshopify.com. But we also have some hoodies in stock, too, that look really good. A dark gray with a powder blue state logo, and then a kind of a heather blue one with a red state logo. So you can check that out. But yeah, we got the Potato Log shirts coming, the Potato Log podcast coming very, very soon. It is a conversation piece logo. It's a cool logo. I think you're going to be pretty. I kind of ran it through some people today, some people I trust. Yeah, and I got nothing but overwhelmingly positive remarks. So some GIFs, some jokes. It went well. So we'll have that for you. But again, the hoodies are live. Some of the top items, including the trucker hat I have on right now, live as well in the shop there. And then we'll get the potato log shirt to you soon. But nonetheless, it's there.
You're gonna want the potato log shirt. I asked my friend Cindy Roberts, who helped us with a couple of designs with the Butcher versus the spin instructor, also the Chasing the Ring design.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of told her, it was really funny because Laura was asking me a minute ago, she goes, how did she do that? So I sort of walked her through the email that I sent.
And it was a credit to her.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I had no real – I have no artistic ability at all. Zero. Like me and the first grader would win.
Neal and I are very similar because we're so bad at that kind of thing. We can't. It's hard for us to even to tell you what's in our minds to describe it.
I was pretty proud of my description. I went back and after she sent it to me, I went back and I was like, "Wow, I must have described that fairly well." And I did a solid job of explaining what it is I was kind of thinking.
Okay, that's true because you told me kind of your base idea, and it looked pretty similar to that.
She blew me away. It's incredible. And I gave her like our MPW digital thing. I'm like, here's our color wheel.
Yeah,
and
sure.
Just kind of, stay in here.
She stayed in there.
Oh, it was amazing. I mean, she's really, really talented. And it looks I can't wait. I
hope it's live by the end of tomorrow. That's kind of the hope. I think that's very doable, so we'll see. But that's kind of, I don't want to overpromise, but I think that's kind of where we are right now. What are you guys drinking? What are you watching tonight? We've got Golden State Dallas up on the television. First quarter, 2:41 to go. 27-21 Warriors right now over the Mavs. I was just thinking about it right before we started the show. Rick Carlisle's really been there a minute. I mean, he's hung on a long time in Dallas, it seems like.
Been there a long time. A couple things real quick. Webmore says, Chase, first of all, sorry for the loss in your family, keeping you and your family in his prayers. Thoughts on any whistleblower at UT? Also, do you see Ole Miss getting any of the Tennessee kids? I mean, I've heard the rumor about Trey Smith's sister. It's not going away.
That has hung on a couple weeks.
Yeah, there have been some other rumors too. It's my opinion there was more than one whistleblower there, based on what I've heard.
Okay.
Ole Miss is not going to get any of those kids, I don't think. A lot of them, the ones that you would want, have pretty much already. A couple of them are going to Oklahoma. I think one's going to Texas A&M. So I don't know that Ole Miss is there. Ethan Turner says Potato Log going to be live Saturday or Sunday. I sure hope so.
Yeah.
because you guys are going to love it. I mean, I can't wait for you to see it.
He's like giddy over here. I mean,
it's great looking. It's really cool. Like, it's really cool. I'm pretty pumped about it. And then Drew says, anyway, you can put the video with you and Zach on a podcast from last night. I mean, I can go in. I think
if you send me
that YouTube file,
if you send me the Zoom or whatever you use, I don't know what you use.
It wasn't Zoom.
What'd you use?
I was on Ecamm.
Oh, you just did that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we don't have an audio only for that, do we?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Because my intention was originally when I set up the file,
it was really just supposed to be there. Yeah,
just going to be a show. So yeah, I mean, this is going to come across the wrong way, Drew, but I think it's going to be one of those deals where you'd just be better off pulling it up on YouTube.
Yeah. Okay.
The audio would be wonky.
Okay. Yeah, I think you're right.
Because my intention was not originally to get Zach.
Yeah.
And then
it just kind of happened.
Kind of as it went. Because I didn't know how quickly Taiwan Malone's deal was going to be, because I knew it was a show from 3 to 4.
Yeah.
And so I'm thinking to myself,
it could be 3:58.
Well, and if it was 3:50, I had to go because I had to pick up Carson from school. Yeah. And so I'm thinking, well, this is going to be kind of weird, and we'll just watch it together. And then
it's early.
He went like 3:18 or something like that. He was
perfect.
He was the first one, and so I was like, well, let's talk about it. And then I saw Zach was available, and I was like, let's get Zach. And then we ended up doing 20 minutes of discussion. So it ended up being a better show than I thought it would be, but it wasn't what I thought it was going to be. Does that make any sense at all?
That makes sense, yeah.
Okay.
Missouri Rebel Chase, you ever had Double Oak Woodford? Yeah, we talk about that. It is a great bourbon for the price, especially. It's on the list of like top 5 pound for pound bourbons that you can find on the shelf every day. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, it's one of the top, probably 3. If you're just going, hey, it should be typically around and where it is on the price wheel. I mean, it's not cheap, but it's available and it's not overly expensive. So yeah, I've got that right there with Old Forester 1910.
Chris Barnes says he's still drinking the Blue Note store pick. And I got that from Paul Edwards.
We did, yeah.
And it's really good.
Yeah, Blue Note has been interesting. Memphis Brewery, distillery for anybody.
I like it more than I thought I was going to like it. You have the rye, I think. Or do you have the higher proof?
I've got the higher proof bourbon. I'm pretty sure.
He gave us 2 bottles.
Yeah. The hoodie I have on is not available. The hoodie that is available has our logo, our state logo on it, and it's right there at the bottom of the screen. It's mpw-digital.myshopify.com. I'm probably not even supposed to be wearing the hoodie I have on because we're no longer an Under Armour entity. But them's the breaks.
You could lose your job on that.
If they'd like to send me some new stuff, I'll be happy to wear that stuff.
It's been a minute since we got
it. Takes it's not easy to get Rivals gear. I'll just say it's not the easiest thing in the world. So I think I have one Adidas polo, maybe. I think I have one.
Are we Adidas now?
Yeah, we're Adidas now.
Okay.
You know that?
Don't
you have one?
I don't know. I've got some Under Armour stuff.
I've got a ton of Under Armour.
Yeah.
I work out in some of the dry fit stuff. It's actually pretty good. But yeah. Anyway. We kind of cycle through. You can find, I talked to Carl Lafferty today. We talked about Taiwan Malone for 23 of the 25 minutes that I had Carl. Obviously, Ole Miss signing Malone yesterday, a top 50, 60, whatever he is, national recruit, a defensive tackle. Speaking of been a minute, Ole Miss signing a blue chip defensive player in that realm from a ranking standpoint. So you can find out kind of what Carl thinks about him as a baseball player, how they worked with the football staff. He gives tons of props to Marquise Watson during the interview as well, and more there with him. Because look, a couple things to kind of take from it is what kind of happens in these situations is football will say, hey, we're recruiting this guy, and then kind of tip off the baseball program and go, hey, 2A guy, what do y'all think? And then then the players got to sort of pass the smell test. And now look, do they all have to be, oh my God, SEC ready, we would recruit this kid anyway? No, but they do have to meet a certain standard of ability. Then baseball's not going to go, yeah, absolutely, you get a spot on 35 even if you can't, hit a beach ball thrown up there to you. And I'm doing this because I think otherwise it's going to be very unfair to the kid. Tywin Malone is a freakishly good football player. If he's healthy and the ACL is repaired and everything's good mobility-wise, he should play and play immediately on the defensive line for Ole Miss. Should be a hell of a talent before he's done with the Rebels. He's missing fall ball, though, in baseball every single time because he's playing football. Football is who's paying his bills, paying his scholarship. He's a walk-on to the baseball program. It's going to be a while, barring some freak transformation that I don't expect on the baseball standpoint. Now, is he a good baseball player? Yes, he is. I asked Carl today. I said, take football out of it. Where what do you think? Where would he be? And Carl's going to be diplomatic about it. But when I've talked to multiple people, the thing is, hey, he's probably an American Conference guy, maybe a bottom half ACC, because of his location. Yep. If somebody said, hey, Boston College jumped on him, Pitt, Virginia Tech, some teams like that, sure. And the point is, it's not like he had never played before. He's an East Coast pro kid. He's an area code games kid. I mean, he's gone to all the showcases. He's done all the stuff. He's got huge power from the right side, but it's a deal where he's going to have to develop. He's going to have to do a lot of things. And this isn't like talking down on anybody, but it's kind of a misconception that, hey, I'm a really big guy. I hit home runs. And it's like that's not necessarily a translate thing. It's all about bat speed. It's about a lot of other things other than that.
He does have better hands.
He's a freak athlete.
Than I thought he would have.
His hands are good. His feet are just damn good. I know they're shocked.
Yeah.
But
I'm talking about it with his swing.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times big power guys.
It's long and there's too much movement. It can be fixed.
Yeah.
Those are the issues with his swing. It's too long. And
his problem from a baseball standpoint is going to be this. Two things. After an SEC season.
We're beaten up a little bit.
Does his body need work?
Yeah, right.
Medical work.
Yeah.
Jerry Ely says hello.
Right.
And then the second question is going to be, is there going to be enough time for him to refine some of the things he'll need to refine to be able to hit SEC pitching? Because, look, it's one thing when you play Murray State on Tuesday afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
Chase and I had this conversation yesterday. I was out walking the dogs and we were talking about this. You watch Ole Miss's lineup on Friday night. These are all guys that play baseball year-round. These are cream of the crop hitters. Watch how bad sometimes they look on a Friday night, a Saturday. It's not because they forgot how to hit. It's because the pitching is that good. SEC pitching on Friday and Saturday, certainly, almost across the league, is elite. And even some of the Sunday pitching is really good. But Friday and Saturday SEC pitching is dominant stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Friday's elite usually, and Saturday's pretty damn good. That's not the kind of pitching that you just show up late January and by 1st of March you're ready to go. The way that the guys are who went through fall and are doing all the different things. It's a lot to ask of a guy. But we'll see. I mean, look, like you said, like Carl said, he doesn't cost them anything. He's a free shot for them. And if it turns out, great. And if it goes the way I suspect it will go, which is this is going to be a guy that's going to realize he's in 3 years can make a lot of NFL money, at some point the decision starts to make itself, like it has for Jerry and Ely.
Yeah. But, I mean, look, the kid loves baseball. It played a huge role in his recruitment. He gave a couple of quotes to some different people that basically it was the primary part of his recruitment in a way because he had to find a place that accepted him as a baseball player. I mean, reading between lines, what we heard of, one of the reasons why he picked Ole Miss was Ole Miss's plan, their reputation, and being able to throw other two sport guys at him and go. I mean, when he was here a few weeks ago, he went to dinner with Plumlee and Ely and got to have that conversation. They said, hey, no, like, it's not just lip service. When it's baseball, we're baseball. That's what we do. It's completely whatever. There's synergy there between the two staffs, and he was able to see that. And from kind of what I've heard from people, A&M lost the kid by not doing enough baseball, by not playing along, but by proving that was what they were serious about it. And frankly, I think in some ways he saw through that. I think that he knew that was not going to be a place that was going to develop and mature him as a baseball player. And Ole Miss was. Florida State was. He didn't like Florida State's football program.
They weren't going to as easily let him walk away in January and say, see you in June. Which is kind of what Ole Miss did with with Plumlee, with Ely. Go play. If you can get over here and participate in some football stuff, great. But look, baseball goes first in the spring.
What you also see is Malone, to this point, has proven just as a high school kid to have a necessary work ethic to give himself a chance. Because I think Carl mentioned it today, but either way, you've got to hit on your own. You got to get through all the football stuff and not have any much time left in your day and go, I'm still going to go to the cage and get some swings in
October.
Yeah, and when it's a grind.
Yeah.
Now, having multiple guys helps with that too. That's another part of this is Ely and Plumlee, and you've got some dudes and you get some help, and
they would go do it together.
Yeah, if you're on an island, you've got a really big problem here. But take yesterday for example. Tywone Malone signs at 3:15 yesterday, whatever time it was. He had rehab on his knee about an hour after that, and then he went to the cage and hit an hour after that.
Yeah.
So he already in his head, that's what he does. It's just the way he operates. It's whatever. So he's more than you know. He's a pretty impressive kid from a standpoint of what you're getting.
Big time.
So, yeah, I mean, it's a good day for Ole Miss. Lane, for sure. I'm assuming. I mean, I know they were waiting. They would not have had a press conference had Tywone Malone not signed because they wouldn't have signed anybody yesterday. They were waiting for his decision prior to announcing that he was going to have a PC. And Lane spent a lot of time yesterday discussing national program. This is how we do it. Was quite pointed in his introduction, where he said, some people say we got to sign a bunch of Mississippi kids.
Who says that, by the way?
Who knows?
Because he said some people say it.
He did say some people say it. He said some people.
I mean, we don't say that.
No. He goes, some years, we'll recruit Mississippi, and some years it might be more, some years it might be less, but to get where we've got to get or where we're trying to get, it's got to be a national program where we sign national kids. And he that was on his mind when he started the press conference. It was not asked. He just went to it.
Yeah.
So I thought that was interesting.
I didn't feel like that was directed at me or you.
No. You think it was directed at someone?
Has Nick Suss written a lot about the need to recruit in-state?
Not that I'm aware of, at least.
Has Parrish?
Typically not.
It's not really his style.
It's not Parrish's
I may
thing.
have missed it. I don't know what the Oxford Eagle writes. That doesn't kind of feel like their genre, if you will. Their avenue.
No. Just narrowing it down.
I'm trying to think. I mean, where's that coming from? Because that obviously was something that he had given some thought to.
He had thought about it.
And I don't know who's done that because I know we haven't. We've not emphasized in-state versus out-of-state. In fact, when Zach and I have talked about it, I've said it's very clear they just want to sign the best players. And if they're from Mississippi, so be it. If they're from Vermont, so be it. That once you sign them and they put on your uniform and they put on your helmet,
doesn't really matter where they're from.
It really doesn't matter on the field.
I mean, Hugh, in his 2012 famous state speech, he talked about the kids from Chicago and Atlanta. He did the Jimmy Swaggart preach thing while he was yelling all the different cities.
That
was a good pregame speech.
It was a good pregame speech.
That was a good one.
It's one you could do once.
You only get that one time, don't you?
Yeah.
He had 2 or 3, though, that, I mean, early on, he could give a pregame now.
He had a really strong 2012.
And into 13.
Yeah, into 13.
His LSU pregame in 13, that it might happen tonight, really, really good. Like
that was good.
It popped. Yeah,
it was good.
That was a good one, too. Then he did the whole lock the gate in Austin, and after that, he started reusing stuff, and it got a little crazy.
Yeah, you run out of gimmick.
You just got to be a football team.
Which, to Kiffin's point, you got to go get players.
Yeah, the way you win without gimmicks is you have better players.
I mean, something tells me Nick Saban's not coming up with new material every week.
Robots don't make as many mistakes. You just get the better players.
Go play. Get the better players, get a good system. And that's what Kiffin said. To his credit.
Don't rely on emotion.
Well, to his credit, he said it consistently, is that he wants to build a national program, and there's only one way to do that, and that's to recruit nationally. I've said this before. It's the reason that I think he wanted the Ole Miss job over the Arkansas job. I think he felt like of those 2 programs, one had the potential to recruit nationally. It's Ole Miss. It's easier to recruit nationally to Ole Miss than it is to Arkansas.
Do you ever think about the alternate world where Kiffin's at Arkansas and Drinkwitz is here? What you doing?
Yeah. I think he would have had success at Arkansas. I don't think it would have come as instantly. The roster wasn't set up the same way the roster was here with a unique quarterback, an elite quarterback, and all that stuff. There's money up there. There's facilities up there. That's not the issue. It's hard to get to from a travel standpoint.
Mm-hmm. Grind asking best player athlete you ever played against in high school and what sport? Bill Hall, that had a Major League Baseball career, hit a ball over a scoreboard in Tupelo off of me that was quite impressive. I just kind of turned around and watched it and went, yeah. I was a freshman and he was a senior, and it looked absolutely every bit like it during that at-bat.
Ben McDonald.
That would count.
Yeah.
That would count.
Yeah. He was good.
You foul tip it?
No.
Not even like a foul?
No, I made contact.
Did you?
Tipped it off.
Like not in fair territory?
Oh, hell no.
You didn't put the ball in play?
Oh, no. I struck out all 3 times.
Did you?
Yeah.
He struck out everybody?
Yeah, he struck out everyone. We were all just talking about it, you know.
So you weren't like really giving notes. You're just going, oh, my God.
Yeah.
It's not like, hey, look for this.
No, I mean, that's 90-something.
That's what that looks like.
Yes. Where the ball makes that sound.
Oh, yeah, I know the sound.
Yeah, the sound.
Yeah. You almost want to go, hey, can you just throw me all your pitches so I can see them? Can I see the changeup? Can I do whatever?
Let me see the curve.
I just want to see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what a big league curve looks like. Some bitch.
I'm not hitting that either.
No. Those are the games that are kind of, because the coaches aren't yelling at you. They're like, well, ain't nobody hitting that. No one's talking about focus at that point. Hey, get locked in. No, just.
Oh, Grind, that's good. I bet Quan Alexander was a beast in high school.
Ooh, I bet.
Can't imagine. As athletic as he is. Travis, no, I mean, Laugh's definitely not the head coach in waiting. Now, do I think Carl would at least get a look if Mike sustains success the rest of the time? Sure. Been here a long time. He's in such a good avenue, though, as a recruiter, as a seller of the program. It's one of the – I have this thing on the message board a lot, and everybody goes, hey, why doesn't Mike do this with a more just direct pitching coach and whatever? Mike has his roster set up in the perfect way for Mike's specialty and then playing off of that, because Mike is a pitching expert. He's his own pitching coach. I mean, he was Team USA's pitching coach a few years ago. Carl is able to assist with that and then go out and be a lead recruiter. Clem is a damn good recruiter, and Clem's the hitting coach. The way in baseball, because that volunteer assistant can't go off campus and can't do recruiting visits, you have to give somewhere. So for Ole Miss, it makes all the sense in the world to give on a very direct, unilateral pitching coach. That just doesn't make sense the way you have to build the lineup for Ole Miss. So. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. If you told me, Carl's had some other opportunities to do some different things, hasn't taken them. His wife's from close by. He likes it here. He's had a lot of success. He's very good at his job. He's happy. Look, coaching is a lot like players. If you're happy, you're not going anywhere. You're not trying to just run off at the first thing. I mean, it's the same thing. But yeah, I mean, I think he would at least get a look. I mean, I think Ole Miss would have to get to Omaha 1 or 2 more times to make it legitimate, probably. But that's just me off the top of my head thinking. But yeah, I would assume that he at least would be in a conversation. There's no doubt about that.
Trying to think of things that kind of let's see. Drew says, any chance there's an HRG Saturday during the game? If we win, we're on the right side of the bubble. What bubble?
Yeah, no. Got a long way to go.
You got to string a bunch of wins together, Drew, to get on any part of a bubble. You're a long way from a bubble. Still waiting to see what UCF does in football.
They haven't hired a coach yet.
Signing day's come and gone, which I think was probably something they were waiting on. They didn't want to do anything that would be tumultuous at that point. We'll have an SEC football and beyond. I'll ask Chris Landry about it again tomorrow. I've not really heard anything.
On anything?
On any of it. Gus Malzahn, Tom Herman, Randy Shannon, Jeff Lebby.
Those are the names that have been
maybe in that order
that have been bantered about.
I really haven't heard any other names. I've heard that there's been a tremendous amount of interest.
It's the best Group of 5 job, and frankly, it's a better job than some Power 5 jobs. I'd rather have Central Florida than Washington State. Some programs like that. If you're trying to get out and go somewhere, you'd rather have Central Florida than Kansas.
I'm looking at net ratings because Drew says the analytics say something different, and I'm looking. Auburn is 63 in the net right now. I'm looking for Ole Miss. Mississippi State's 84. Did I go too far?
Ole Miss was 60-something prior to the other day.
Yeah, so I'm looking at SEC right now. I'll just start there. I'll just go down. This is net ratings, college basketball. Alabama's 8. Tennessee is 13. Actually was a really big win for Ole Miss from a numbers standpoint. Florida is 27. Missouri's 28. Arkansas is 30. LSU is 43. Memphis is 60. Auburn is 63.
And Ole Miss is 69.
Ole Miss is 69. Yeah, I mean, that's not even close to the bubble at 69.
You're 30 spots from the bubble.
It's a nice spot to be in, but it's nowhere close to the bubble.
40-ish.
Yeah, to have a
conversation.
To even be in the mix.
Yeah. 40 is the number to at least go, okay, we'll talk about it.
Like 42 and below.
Yeah.
You probably can have a conversation, but there's a long
But they told Ole Miss for the
from
season,
that.
you're only going to be 11 behind North Carolina and 5 behind Duke. They probably would have went, hey, all in this bitch.
Yeah.
Those teams suck.
Yeah. Ole Miss at 69, UAB at 70. Just looking at other Kentucky 77.
Yeah, and you're 8 ahead of Kentucky.
Missouri,
you're 5 below Duke and 8 ahead of Kentucky at the midway point.
Mississippi State at 84. They have to be incredibly disappointed. Like Ole Miss has a loss to Dayton. Dayton's 91. South Carolina's 92.
Still got to go to Columbia.
You got 2 losses to Georgia. They're 99. I mean, woof. Louisiana Tech trying to win my loyalties, by the way.
I saw that.
Louisiana Tech at 111. I'm told I have a package of Louisiana Tech gear headed my way.
I saw the gear.
I'm told it's a significant box
full of latex stuff.
Latex gear.
They got pretty good, decent-looking stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, it's better-looking stuff than ULM.
Yeah, ULM doesn't exist anymore. Texas A&M 138.
Oh, good God.
Vanderbilt 150. Woof.
ECU at 133 beat Houston last night. Houston was like 15-1.
So.
But yeah, Vanderbilt 150.
Was Tyvorus Cooper a take? Whit Holland says no, he was not. He was not. So, let's see, tonight's Thursday. You'll be in Texas 2 weeks from now, right? You going on Thursday or Friday?
Thursday.
Going on Thursday. You'll be in Texas in 2 weeks. Feeling is that the season's going to get started on time? Is that what everybody's feeling pretty confident?
Yeah, like there's really no anything about that. I mean, like completely nothing. I mean, I think everybody expects to at least start the season to play on time. They're worried about testing, and nobody, and maybe they know, I don't know. There was some discussion about what do you do from a testing standpoint when are you testing during the week? Because maybe we talked about this podcast, but the NCAA or the SEC or somebody was discussing Saturday testing, and that poses a huge litany of problems.
Yeah.
Because, if it's positive, they're already on the road, they're already in the middle of a series, you're probably going to contact trace out of a game on Sunday. You potentially have to forfeit the game on Sunday if you've been around too many people, especially if you're just doing the dugouts and all that kind of stuff. and then you've got here's a possibility. Kid tested positive on Saturday. How's he getting home on Sunday? Because he can't get back on the plane. He can't get back on the bus with teammates. I guess somebody who has been positive would have to rent a car and drive the player home, is all I can really come up with. So I'm hoping that ended up not being the case. I have no idea if it did or did not, but I hope that is the case. So we'll see. I don't know, but that's where it's at.
Need to add a line to this about the so we have some items in our shop, some clearance items.
Yep.
Enter the promo code RG30. Get 30% off those clearance items. I need to add that in.
For the clearance item.
Yeah.
It's raining like crazy here right now.
Is it?
Yeah, it was almost that dangerous kind of drive over. It was that really dark, slick, wet. I mean, yeah, it was a mess. Yeah, it's gonna get really cold here in a few days. We're about to get hit by that little Arctic thing.
Yeah, they're talking about low teens, right?
Yeah, I don't handle that well. It's not
That's
my
not
thing.
your thing?
No, God, give me August. Trucker hats are back in the clearance thing right now.
Yeah,
Wow.
I need to get one of those before they're gone. I didn't get one.
Yeah, they're there. Somebody asking opening day lineup for Ole Miss. Yeah, off the top of my head. Dunhurst behind the plate. Opening day, Kel Baker at first, but I think Kim Balderman's going to end up playing a lot. Chatney at second. Jacob Gonzalez, the freshman, at short. Tilmoko at third, and then they will go Leatherwood, Bench, and Graham in the outfield, and Ben Van Cleve will DH. I feel pretty confident that's the opening day lineup there for Ole Miss. Number 9 TCU, number 3 Texas Tech, number 10 Texas over the course of the 3 games.
And who are the other SEC teams? It's Ole Miss, Arkansas, and
Mississippi State.
Mississippi State.
Yeah, 3 that really like one another. Just all can hang out together, chill out. I mean, have a
Who
good
hates
time.
each other more?
Well, I mean, I don't know. After the stupid Riley Self mask thing the other day. Prior to that, though, it was Ole Miss at Arkansas.
Yeah.
That's the irony of this. It's like Baseball America did that thing like a month ago, and it was like top 25 nastiest rivalries, and had like Ole Miss and State number 1. And it's like State's like the 7th team Ole Miss hates.
Yeah.
Like that's a fan thing.
Yeah.
Like whatever. No, I mean like Arkansas and Vanderbilt are far and ahead of Ole Miss in that.
If I'm the Arkansas kids, I want to kick Mississippi State's ass after that tweet.
That had to at least ruffle some feathers, right?
Yeah, it would have gotten my attention. I mean, I couldn't care less, and I was like, God, I hope Arkansas kills them now. I mean, I almost went and bought a hat just for that.
Did you love how later in the day State puts out a video with no mask?
Oh, no, I didn't see that.
Yeah. Later in the day.
It was just such a stupid thing. Like, literally, I wanted to go buy an Arkansas hat just for that weekend and still might get Campbell to go get me one.
I don't mind their A hats. It's fine.
No, I was telling you,
Yeah.
they put out their new uniforms the weekend I was up there. The Vapor, whatever.
Yeah.
I think that's what it's called.
Yeah, Vapor or something.
Ole Miss has the same thing.
Yeah.
Their uniforms, they do their baseball uniforms well. The white and then the cream that they have is really good.
I love their cream stuff.
Yeah, that's a strong suit.
No, Gonzalez won't lead off. I would assume Chatney, Bench, Elko, Graham, Baker, Van Cleve, Dunhurst, Gonzalez, and then whoever I'm forgetting at 9 would be my guess.
Lori Hansen wants to
no,
know.
never mind. Hey, Leatherwood will hit higher up than that.
Yeah.
Whatever. Put him in somewhere.
Lori Hansen wants to know if either one of us or is Carson excited about EA college football coming back. He mentioned it, so he must have known something about it. Chase and I talked about this the other day. And neither one of us are big gamers. So
Nothing.
It doesn't mean a lot to me. Grind says Ole Miss ain't beating Auburn with Sharif on the floor, by the way. I agree. I think it's a bad matchup for Ole Miss. I don't know if they have anyone that can really stay in front of Sharif Cooper. And if a team can get the game into the upper 60s, I'm not sure Ole Miss can compete. And that's the problem. The great part about Tuesday night for Ole Miss was they beat Tennessee 52-50. The bad part about beating Tennessee the other night was that you only scored 52 points, and the ball was – Tennessee did not score for 12 minutes, went 1 for 14 from 3, and the ball's in the air at the end to beat you. Your margin for error is so freakishly small.
You win one way.
Yeah, that it's just hard to consistently do that.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Connor wants us to rank our favorite Ole Miss uniforms. He's ranking his. He says powder 1, pinstripe 2, red, white, navy, gray. I think the powder's their best uniform. I do like the white pinstripe uniform because I'm a traditionalist.
I've got red over pins.
I like the red top.
Yeah.
The blue top is fine.
It's fine.
The old gray uniform was god-awful. I think they've switched, you said?
Well, they haven't shown it. So either they just know it's awful and they refuse to actually put it anywhere, or they have a new one. I don't know. We've in none of the anything have they put anything about the gray out. We've not seen and that might tell me it's the exact same uniform and they're scared to death of putting it anywhere.
Or it could be a running joke.
Because it gets harassed on Twitter when it gets announced. I mean, it is getting blown up every time.
Well, it deserves it because their powder blue is a fantastic uniform. Their white pinstripe's a great-looking classic uniform. The red top with the white pants, a very good uniform.
It is.
The blue top is fine. And then they break out the gray, and it's just...
It's a batting practice gray.
Well, it looks like you're in the American Athletic Conference all of a sudden. It's such a bad uniform that it's... How did that happen? Have you ever asked, how did that happen? How did that come about?
Should I write a story on the gray uniform? Why did you change the other one?
Well, I mean...
because their previous gray was good. It was like...
If you caught Mike on a good day, maybe like after they swept the road series, and just say, can I just ask out of curiosity, now that we're done, how much do you hate the gray uniform? And why did that happen? And how pissed off are you about it? And see if he defends it or if he goes, yeah, it's really bad.
They don't wear it very often.
Which tells me they hate it.
Because even when they go on the road, they'll take the blue and the red and wear it on gray pants and then still wear the powder on Sunday.
I know.
So
that's an acknowledgement.
That's a clue.
That it's awful. So,
and it means no pitcher picks it. Because typically a pitcher gets to pick their uniform for the day.
Well, unless the pitcher's colorblind, he's not going to pick it. So the question is, how did that happen? What was your reaction? I mean, like, because here's the thing. Mike Bianco is an attention to detail sort of guy. I mean, he would probably be able to tell you if the popcorn got burned that day. There's no way that gray uniform came through and he was like, no, it's good. So how did that come about? That's what I'd love to know.
And maybe we're getting a clue on from a baseball level how long it takes for Nike to redo a uniform.
Well, that's
you put a call in and go, hey, and they're like, it's going to be 2 years.
This might be the story for me to come do because you got to talk to him all the time.
But you probably get some good quotes from guys like, hey, Doug.
Yes.
So on the road.
Yeah. How much do you?
Yeah.
Scale of 1 to 10. What do you feel about the powder blue uniforms? And he's like probably a 9 or 10. Scale of 1 to 10. What do you think about the red top?
Because Doug and Gunner would both get a choice.
Yeah.
So like Derek gets stuck with whatever he gets stuck with.
Have you ever considered the gray uniform? When they're like, hell no, why not? And then you start getting into it.
Yeah. This is where COVID hurts because you're not just walking up and down the line making jokes.
Well, yeah, and this is also because if you do that on a Zoom call,
it's written before I even get to it.
You're giving the story to everybody else.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, Hunter Ross says the powder blue jersey for football needs more red. I agree. I agree completely. I do. It does. It needs a red pop,
but not too much. It's only a line.
And the white pant needs a red stripe.
Yeah,
or a powder blue stripe. The all white pant, even with the red swoosh, looks like a practice pant. It needs a powder blue stripe down the side, or 2 stripes.
Yeah.
All right. Mitchell says nobody hates the gray but us. I don't think you're right there, Mitchell.
Oh no,
I don't think so.
No.
I don't think so.
The gray gets blown up on Twitter. It's really, really funny.
Yeah. I don't think this is a Neal and Chase thing. Jen Deuce, thanks for the super chat. He says Ole Miss baseball and football Twitter accounts generate tons of interactions now. Why is basketball account so lame in comparison? I don't know. I hadn't really thought about it as lame.
That's not fair. The sport has not resonated in a while with Ole Miss fans as being fun. Twitter interactions are about fun.
Yeah.
And it just hasn't been fun. It's been frustrating for fans.
In fairness, the football Twitter wasn't particularly fun 2 or 3 years ago.
Well, no, that's my point.
Yeah. It's easier if you look around like Major League Baseball. There's a lot of Major League Baseball accounts that are fun.
Yeah.
The Rockies, the Indians.
Their personalities.
Yeah, the Twitter account has a personality.
Yeah. Makes fun of itself.
And Ole Miss baseball kind of has that. There's actually several SEC baseball programs have Twitter accounts.
Yeah, Ole Miss has the second best Twitter account in the SEC for baseball. Vanderbilt's number 1.
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
The little engine that could.
Yeah.
And now, I mean, the Ole Miss football account's essentially Lane Kiffin, and so it's funny.
College football is really it's a coach. It's not even a program. It's coach. College football is a coach.
Yeah. And I don't know, for whatever reason, college basketball just doesn't have a lot of that.
Which is interesting with such small rosters and the way turnover and stuff.
You would think that it would.
But
just kind of doesn't. All right, we'll open up phones. Yeah, phone lines are open. I've got the number up on the screen. We're watching Dallas and Golden State, and here it's 70-65 Mavericks late. Is that late second quarter? Wow, they're already at 70-65. The difference between the NBA and the college game.
It flows a little differently.
Just so different.
I'll make a Twitter poll about the gray uniforms. Let's ask.
All right. Hey, who do we have?
Hey, this is David from Georgia.
Hey, David, how are you?
I'm good. You guys were talking about pitchers you had faced, and it got me to thinking back when I was a freshman in high school. I faced a guy by the name of Kirk Presley. He was out of Tupelo.
Oh, yeah. I remember Kirk Presley.
I remember the name.
Yeah. And mind you, he was a senior, and I don't know how hard he was throwing it, but when I looked over it, when I got in there and I had the first pitch, and like Neal said, it had that sound.
Yeah.
And I took a step out of the box and looked at my coach with just, oh my God, this is hopeless look on my face.
Yep.
It just, I was like, well, good game, guys. It was nice being on the same field with you. But I ended up following him, and I didn't know that he actually blew out his shoulder in low A ball. So
yeah, he was prone to injuries he had a fully injury riddled career.
He went number 2 or 3 overall to the Mets. Is that right?
8th.
Number 8, yeah. And at least I got to stand in the box against a guy like that.
Oh, it's one of the things I'd love to do if you had to promise me that I wouldn't get hit. I would love to stand in the box and look at a Jacob deGrom, a Trevor Bauer, a Yu Darvish, somebody who just has phenomenal stuff.
Noah Syndergaard that throws at 103.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to see just like a Aroldis Chapman. But you have to promise me I'm not getting hit. You have to promise me that if I stand in the back of the box, I can just look at it.
Have you guys seen that? It's a documentary. I think it's on Netflix called Fastball.
It was about Chapman, right?
Well, Chapman was in it. It was about all the guys that throw 100 miles an hour and how they actually went back and looked at Nolan Ryan in his prime.
Yeah,
and they said that he was hitting 108.
Yeah, they were. I do remember seeing that. There was a debate about whether it was him and Bob Feller was the other old timer that they were looking at, and they were having a discussion about whether
threw harder.
Well, and whether scientifically you can actually throw it that hard. They were having a conversation about whether there is a maximum speed that a human being could throw a baseball from 60 feet 6 inches.
When they did Ryan, I think they came up with the number of 108.7, and I was like, I don't understand how. I mean, at that type of speed, you can't hit it. You just got to guess. Okay, it's going to be here and swing there and hope for the best.
Well, it was like at that speed, you have 0.23 seconds. Think about that.
Yeah, which you can't even blink that fast.
Yeah, well, you
0.23.
You actually can blink, but that's about it. You have about you have 0.2. They were breaking it down scientifically.
But you're also having to guess fastball curve.
Well, you can't guess. So what it
you
tells
you have to think. Okay, I'm getting a fastball. I think it's going to be here, and when he rocks back, you start your swing.
So if Aroldis Chapman throws you a curveball and you're guessing fastball and location, you're going to miss it by 30, 40 feet.
Yeah.
I mean,
it just shows you how good those hitters in the big league
that's
are.
exactly what I was getting ready to say. It shows you like a Joey Votto.
Especially when those guys will get the 100-mile-an-hour fastball and turn on it.
Well, I'll tell you what always blows me away with the great contact hitters, and Votto's the one that I love to watch. I mean, I'm an NL Central guy, and I've watched so many Reds games, and I love Votto. He's begun to decline a little bit, but Votto in his prime would get a great closer, and he'd make him throw 14 pitches.
Yeah.
He'd foul pitches off, and you'd just go, how does he do that? I mean, just the hand-eye coordination on a guy like that is just unbelievable. You go back and watch Tony Gwynn at-bats. Remarkable. I mean,
I love the interview with Tony Gwynn when he said, I could have hit more home runs, but I didn't want to.
Yeah, because he would have given up some of his contact.
Yeah.
He would have. He would have
been a lifetime 330 hitter.
Yeah, he would have had to sacrifice it. Go back and watch George Brett at bats.
Or Pete Rose.
Yeah.
Back to our first conversation for a second. Kirk Presley's high school career ERA was 0.60.
Yeah. I mean, if you could have stood in the box against that guy, because I did it for 3 at-bats in that game, and he walked out with I think it was like 26 strikeouts or something like that in that game. And we just got in the box and we were like, this is about the least amount of fun I've ever had playing baseball.
He went 37-1 during his career.
Who beat him?
For some reason, I think he lost to New Hope. I don't know why. In my mind, I think I know that, but for some reason, I think he lost to New Hope.
Yeah, I mean, you can only
because I was at Caledonia.
Okay. Oh, okay. There you go. Yeah. Because wasn't it around then when New Hope won like the mythical national title or whatever? They went like 43-0.
Yeah, I think it was, and they beat us like a drum.
So,
but
anyway.
yeah, I just wanted to call in and let you guys know that I thought it was funny when you brought up Ben McDonald and you were like, well, I might as well quit now, boys. So y'all have a good night, and I'll talk to you later.
All right, thanks, David.
All right, bye.
Yeah, 74-73 Warriors right before the half.
74-73.
Yeah. Dallas is going to be up 76-74 at the half. Unless that falls, and it almost did. Is this Bubba?
Hey, boys. How y'all doing?
Bubba, we're good. How are you?
Well, going up to White Pine this weekend. Got Daddy on suicide watch. Not really, but he wouldn't. I mean, he's about to lose his mind. So
why is that? Because of the Vols?
Oh yeah, he's told me that he wanted them to be good again and thought they were back, and they ain't back at all. I told him.
Well, they haven't lost since we talked about it.
Yeah, it's a good point.
I mean, what the hell?
They went undefeated in January.
Well, everybody, he told me, he said, one solace he had was he was better than us in recruiting. I said, you do know they're going to release all their people, and he hung the phone up on me. So I told him not to go to the Chopper Stadium and jump off. He said he didn't have to, so he'll be out there doing it before him. So other than that, everything's good. Dogs are good. Miller's growing and Barry's good. Really appreciate you boys, all your coverage on Malone. I was in the car driving and just really enjoyed it. So, been really busy with people, and it's going to be cold next week. Colder than the witch's tit, as I say. But anyway, appreciate everything. And
colder than a
witch.
Colder than a witch's tit? I've never heard that.
You never heard that?
No, I've heard. What's it colder than a well digger's ass? I've heard that.
Yeah. So
what is the weather forecast? Because I'm curious.
And then I'll let you boys go.
All right.
First of all, what kind of impact do you think Malone's going to have, not for just us, but for the whole defensive line? And second, what do you know, Neal, about Tennessee? I know you got something in your back pocket, so to speak. And you boys have a good night. And I really appreciate it. And I'll call in next week with Daddy. He's promised me to call in.
All right.
Thanks, Bubba.
And we talked about Malone earlier. I mean, I think, assuming the knee heals, I think he has a chance, along with Iton and Gordon and stuff, to eradicate a tremendous weakness from this past year's team.
Complete overhaul. Just complete overhaul of what it could be.
And he's immensely talented. I mean, he's a top 100 kid, and when you watch his film, you're like, I get it. Do you see this about – I'm going to pull the call. Hey, caller, hang on real quick. We'll get right to you, okay? So the cold weather starts Wednesday.
Okay.
High of 36, which is not brutal. 33 on Thursday. There's a little potential of some winter stuff on Thursday. High Friday of 27, a low of 9.
Oh.
High Saturday the 13th of 27.
So this is next week.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Low of 14. Warming up to 34 on Sunday. A low of 22. Man, there's going to be some pipes busting in this town. People are going to forget to do the stuff you're supposed to do.
Plumber's going to have a good day.
It's going to be a good day to be a plumber. Sorry about that. Who do we have?
It's regular size Ben.
Regular size Ben. How are you?
I'm all right. How are I doing?
Oh, we're good.
Yeah, I saw that weather report last night, man. I'm thankful that at the beginning of the year I got to be able to start working from home, and I ain't got to deal with none of that anymore. So as long as my pipes don't bust, I think I'm pretty good.
What's the coldest weather you've ever been in, Ben?
Man, I'm not real good with history, Neal, to be honest. I don't like it as much as you, but I mean, I've been to Colorado, I've been to South Dakota, Wyoming, and all that. And, that's about as far north as I've been, so it's cold up there. I can't imagine, man. I saw, was it Chicago or New York? I saw a river, or maybe it was Lake Michigan or something. It was like frozen.
It was Lake Michigan. It was basically frozen over. It was giant chunks of ice.
Could you imagine? I ain't no way. I mean, and I like cold weather. Like, I feel like if I get a little taste of it, it's kind of invigorating, but I don't want none of that at all.
I've been up there a couple of times when it was crazy cold, and it's a different deal now.
I don't understand. I don't even understand that, but the weather report I saw last night, it was like negative 33 in Canada, and all that's pushing down this way. And they're like, it's coming, and you might as well get ready for it. We're not exactly sure what to expect, but it's coming. But anyway, the reason I called tonight, I want to know, Neal, are you familiar with Theo Vaughn out of Louisiana? He's a comedian.
I'm not.
You're not?
No.
I didn't know because, I heard you mention Tim Dillon and some of those guys that's been on Rogan and stuff before.
Theo Vaughn's been on with Corolla. I've heard him there.
What was that?
I said Theo Vaughn's been on with Corolla at least once or twice. I've heard him on with him.
Well, he had a guy with Down syndrome on last week, Chris Nikic. I think it's Nikic, but they pronounce it Nikic. He was the first Down syndrome person ever to complete an Ironman, and
Oh, wow.
He trained in like 10 months. And it was super interesting. And I think it'd be right down your guys' alleys. Like, if you want to, and it's you need to watch it on YouTube because he has his dad on there with him, kind of helping through the podcast. And it's hilarious. And throughout the show, he'll kick his dad in the foot, like when he's aggravated by him or something like that. And you don't see that in the audio version, but I really think you guys would enjoy it. It talks about struggles that he had. And he didn't even have any training or anything like that until like 10 months before the Ironman. And he completed a real Ironman, not a Special Olympics Ironman. So it talks about the struggles he went through and that kind of stuff. And I just wanted to let you guys know, like, it was really good, and I think you guys would enjoy it if y'all got the time to check it out.
Yeah, for sure. I'd definitely check that out. That's
appreciate it.
It's
called This Past Weekend is the name of Theo's podcast, but check it out. That's all I got, guys.
Okay.
All right,
enjoy the show.
Yeah,
Later.
Nikic here, a couple things on him. He had open heart surgery at 5 months old and did not walk until 4 and eat solid food until 5, and he completed an Ironman. For anybody who's not aware, an Ironman, you swim 2.4 miles, you bike 112 miles, and then you run a marathon.
Oh, my God.
So just contemplate that in your head for a minute.
I don't want to.
Because out of the three things, honestly, the swimming is the part that would just freak me out.
And it would wear you out.
And then you're 112 miles on a bike, and then running.
Yeah, because 112 miles is like, 3 or 4 hours?
Oh, every bit of that.
Yeah.
No, I mean, typically it's like pro Ironman. I mean, they're running, I think they're doing 17 to 20 miles an hour on a bike.
Oh, so it's a 5-hour ride.
Yeah.
Ole Miss wins in women's basketball tonight. Way back, Reb, with the post 72-60 over Kentucky. So congratulations to them. Hey, who do we have? Oh, nobody.
Got intimidated.
Yeah, we're intimidating people.
He did it in 16 hours and 46 minutes.
The whole thing?
Yeah.
Jeez. You know how sore you would get on a bike for 5 hours?
I know amateurs, like, their huge goal always is like 10 to 12 hours, I think is what they try to do it in. Something like that.
So they're running the marathon in what, 4? 3?
Probably 4 or a little over. Because I mean, you're
done. You're done by
yeah,
then. So they're running 10-minute miles.
Yeah, probably something like that.
I know. I got in the car the other day, and
The nutrition is what you have to figure out.
Yeah.
Like, how are you staying? Whatever. Anyway, go
so
ahead.
I've worked my way up to 5 miles, and I got in the car, and Carson goes, "What'd you do today?" I said, "I went running." He goes, "How far did you run?" I said, 5 miles. He goes, "How long did it take you?" I said, 45 minutes. He goes, "No, it's okay." And I was like, "Whoa, hold up, that's a 9-minute mile."
He wasn't impressed.
I'm an old man. Give me a break.
I mean, you have run 4 marathons. I mean, you want a cookie? You ran 5 miles.
I'm gonna tell you what. At the end of that, I would have enjoyed a cookie.
Okay.
Damn right.
Oh, it's on a treadmill too. It count?
Yeah, it counts.
It counts.
Yeah, I did a lot of my training on treadmills.
I know. It probably harms you.
You think?
Yeah, it's different. I do. I think not all of it, because you got to protect your joints and stuff a little bit, but had you done more outside, I think it would have helped you.
Yeah, maybe so. Hey, who do we have?
Hey, it's Mark Columbus.
Hey, Mark, how are you?
You know.
Mark always sounds so down.
Yeah, everything calls him, fine.
Well, I mean, the only positive is I don't think we did any worse than Auburn. We basically hired the same guy.
I mean, sort of.
But I got a question.
Sure.
Do you think that running a coaching search in the middle of January during a pandemic, with the cherry on top being your chancellor admits to several level 1 violations, do you think that shallows your candidate pool at all?
Yeah, of course.
Because I'm checked out on it. I remember you guys had a podcast once talking about Ole Miss and how apathy is far worse than anger.
Was not even a doubt.
Yeah.
And
apathy's our biggest fear.
Because that's when the money stops.
Yeah.
Well, look,
in all phases of the program.
It's
like checked out on it.
It's like love and hate. Look, love and hate are very similar to one another on the emotional scale.
Yeah.
Indifference is the opposite.
Yeah.
And because they're gonna have to really. I'm done giving the benefit of the doubt and hope and time and energy and money to the thing. They're going to have to produce something for me to get checked back in. My Saturdays are no longer going to revolve around what time Tennessee plays football, that's for sure. And I don't think I'm alone.
You'll be back in it by August.
Nah. They're going to have to earn it. I've got a membership at a golf club down there, and that'll be the only time I go down to Knoxville is to play golf.
They had the SEC's longest winning streak at one point last year.
Mark, I do this with the Cubs every year, and by the second weekend of the season, I'm watching every game. You're stuck with it, man.
Yeah, but it's 15 years. Like, you got to show me something. Now, they don't get the benefit of the doubt from me anymore. And did you hear anything about them throwing like $8.5 million at James Franklin and him saying no?
I've heard the rumor. I don't know that I believe it.
Do you think your program is bad when an ACC offensive coordinator uses your head coaching job for leverage to get a raise at his ACC school coordinator?
Well, that was the bad sign, and that was the sign that I think probably led to Danny White panicking a little.
Yeah, and
that was the moment.
The Vol Twitter thing is stupid. I get all that, but it's literally the worst media market probably in the country. It's a mid-sized city with 4 options for sports talk radio.
Oh, that's true. There is a lot of sports talk radio.
Not to mention Chattanooga, Nashville, whatnot. And it's a complete feeding frenzy, and there's just too many mouths that need to eat. And it's such a fishbowl, and it swallows everybody up. And, I mean, whatever. I'm checked out on it. I need to know what I need to do to be able to root for Ole Miss. What are some of the traditions I need to know? Root for a program that wins. Hell, we're a basketball school and we can't even beat Ole Miss.
Yeah, that didn't go well for you on Tuesday night. That was not a good loss for the Vols.
8-8 Ole Miss beats our supposed Final Four contender. I just called in for a little therapy.
Yeah, we are concerned about you. I mean,
I'll be all right.
Rebel 00 says we love you, Mark. Everybody here is we're trying to work you through this. Listen, Ole Miss people have been through this. We went through
Yeah, I was going to say, y'all know what I'm about to go through because it ain't now that's really bad. No. It's like 3 years from now when the roster's really decimated.
You're prepared. Yes.
This is the
beginning.
Maybe you get lucky in the transfer portal. But
half the starters jumped into the transfer portal, and that's not the worst the roster is going to look over the next 36 to 48 months.
Well, they were the ones getting paid, I think. So, I think
it was a lot of good ones.
Dry and they kind of took off. But
are you saying you think Eric Gray got paid to go to Tennessee?
No,
Mark.
Come on.
No,
saw that power team. Just couldn't deny it. Just couldn't say no.
Yeah, Grind says self-report, but do not self-impose.
Ugh.
Yeah, it's a fine line. It really is. It's you get on your knees and
that's what everybody wanted. Get rid of the damn Gump. And this is what you got.
I will say this. This is what I'm interested to see because Ole Miss kind of self-turned in, but at the same time they defended Freeze. Tennessee turned it in and threw Pruitt completely under the bus.
They tried to isolate Hugh. Yeah,
so I am going to try to see whether that results in a different outcome.
And they canned Fulmer too, sort of. And they got everybody off that coaching staff. I mean, they didn't retain a soul. Completely fresh, new start, I guess. Yeah. I mean, Fulmer doesn't. I'm under no illusions that Fulmer wasn't kind of running the show with the boosters and getting the money together. I think we all kind of realized what was going on there. But yeah.
Well, hang in there, Mark.
Oh, thanks, buddy.
All right.
We'll talk at you.
Bye.
Thanks.
Mark makes it hard for me to hate Tennessee.
He sounds so sad.
Because he's a good guy. They're going to get screwed. Although you do have to wonder, like, every time someone says something, everyone in the league goes, Will Wade is still on the sideline. Will Wade's still right there. How does that happen? Why are we paying for this and Will Wade's still right there?
The sport being different is a reason. For whatever reason, basketball. But I don't get it, though, because he's on a federal wiretap. Just like the other dudes that got popped on the federal wiretap that have been, did
you see
dude at Arizona's not coaching still? Sean Miller, right?
Yeah. LSU lost at Alabama last night, and Trendon Watford, who was one of the people that got the strong-ass offer.
Yeah.
His mother, they're from Mountain Brook. She flipped off the Alabama student section on her way.
Did she?
Yeah, and I think they enjoyed that.
Bama just beat the hell out of them twice this year.
Yeah, Bama's good.
Oklahoma played really well Saturday.
Yeah, did you watch any of that game?
Yeah, the second half.
Yeah, it was a good game. It was one of a couple of good games in that. Don't you hate when I accidentally I got my hand on the graphic there. I fixed it. All right, let's see. Phone lines are open. Yeah, I can't print what Webb says, but I don't even know. I don't understand how Will Wade still has his gig. I really don't. I don't know how. Makes no sense. As of today, Alabama is the number 1 seed, according to Lenardi.
They're 10-0 in the league.
Hey, who's this?
Grind.
Hey, Grind. I thought that might be you, but I couldn't quite tell. I answered the phone before I could read the whole number. How are you, bud?
I'm doing all right, man. Doing all right, just enjoying another hand raise, guys, man.
Anything going on with the one-eyed girl, or is that over?
Oh man, that's been over, man. That's years ago. Come on now.
She had
to. Like that.
Wasn't Cyclops.
No, man. No. I just been laying up resting this foot, man.
Oh, how's the foot doing?
Well, hopefully, when I go to get the cast off, they told me that it's a miraculous healing, and I'm back. I can get back to doing what I need to do, but it's been healing, man. I finally got a scooter, so these rashes on my arms can finally go away.
So what else is going on, y'all? Auburn and Ole Miss on Saturday. I think you and I are on the same page. I don't think this is a good matchup for Ole Miss at all with Sharif Cooper on the floor.
Yeah, man. I know it didn't. He didn't able to pull Auburn through against Georgia, but I just think dude's a beast, man. And I just think it's Ole Miss, like you say. I don't know if Sharif is able to drop 20. And I can or 20, a little bit over 20, and the Auburn players can do pitch in like they usually do. I don't know if Ole Miss can just have enough offense. Ole Miss is just gonna have to strangle Auburn like how they've been doing in all the other games.
It's like Chase and I've talked about. It's the only way Ole Miss can win games. I mean, we're 16, 17 games into the season. You are kind of who you are, and that's how. It's the only way they can win is by strangling a team on defense and scoring just enough. And that's just such a hard recipe to follow week after week after week after week.
And it's why for Ole Miss that, they were asking in the stream, and we're not necessarily being negative. It's when you only have one way to win, you don't see a consistent path to like getting on some run, because to do that, you got to win games 81-78, then win a game 57-53. And Ole Miss hasn't found a way to win a game that's into the 60s. If it gets into the 60s, they're very uncomfortable.
And that's a weird number. I mean, because
that's not very much. I mean, that's a low number.
And here's the thing about Ole Miss too is that, and this is the reason that this is not a more interesting team, at least to this point of the season. Yes, Ole Miss has had 3 or 4 games where they've held opponents to these super low numbers. They held Mississippi State to 48 points, 46 points. They held Texas A&M to 50.
They got 96 points in 2 games that week.
Yeah, they held Texas A&M to 50.
Wow.
Now they've held Tennessee to 50. So they've had 3 of those games against SEC teams where they have just put the clamps on a team. But they've also had games where they've given up in the 70s and they've given up in the 80s. It's not been a consistent game after game after game thing, and that's why it's so hard. I mean, yeah, if you tell me tomorrow or Saturday that Ole Miss holds Auburn to 53 points, yeah, sure, you got a hell of a shot to win the game.
Yeah, okay, then, yeah.
Yeah, but if you hold Auburn, I don't even know what Auburn averages because Auburn had a real high-scoring game against Georgia the other day. I mean, Auburn's not a great defensive team either. That's part of their problem.
No.
But that's where it's not a good matchup for Ole Miss because Ole Miss doesn't really exploit bad defensive teams either because they just don't shoot well. So if Ole Miss holds Auburn to, say, 70 points, that's under Auburn's average, and that's a pretty solid deal. I just don't know that Ole Miss can get to 71.
Yeah, see, that's what I was going to say. I think 70 might be the number if you Auburn. If you could find a way to 70, I think, you got Ole Miss sweating and, shaking, in my opinion.
I do too.
Because look, if this is SEC football, Ole Miss is the SEC football team that's going out there losing 10-6.
Yeah, they want to play. They want to play the game. The way Ole Miss wins is they play the game like they played Tuesday night against Tennessee, where it turns into this slow, methodical game. And Ole Miss is pretty active on the defensive end, especially in the half court. And they've hit the boards pretty hard, and they played Romello White and Hadim C together at the same time. They're trying some different things. There's a path for Ole Miss to win games. It's just that the path it's like going on a mountain, and it's really the path is really thin. And they've done it a few times, but they've gone off the mountain a couple of times too.
Yeah, when I heard you and Zach, a couple, I don't know if it was last part. No, it wasn't last part. Probably back when you guys were just talking about how important next year is going to be for Kermit. With basketball recruits and whatnot. It just seems like, I don't know why, man. It just seems like yesterday they was playing Oklahoma in the NCAA tournament. I don't know. Maybe I'm tripping, but
it was a couple of years. Yeah, they've just had a hard time. This team, its problem is they don't have a consistent wing scorer. They've got a couple of good guards, and Schuler can be really good, and Joyner's had his moments. They don't have that third guard, I think Joyner should be a third guard. They don't have that second guard on the wing who's capable night in and night out, if you don't defend him, of giving you 22 points, where you have to guard that guy. Yeah, and so they just...
Well, their tournament team, they had TD, Schuler, and Brian.
Right, 3 guys. And
and you need that in college basketball, really, man. That's the teams that really do something.
Well, and Brian, Brian could really shoot it. And with TD, if you didn't guard him, he could make the 3. And then if you did guard him, he was so explosive that he could,
But he was such an athlete, man. He could drive by you and slam and all that.
Yeah.
But this is gonna be my last basketball thing. Over under 1.5 SEC teams in the Sweet 16.
Okay, so let's see. So I think Alabama can be a Sweet 16 team. They're really good. I don't think Tennessee is. They're what happened?
They're so limited offensively.
Yeah, it just got to scare you. I don't think LSU is. I thought earlier in the year they might be. I don't now. If Arkansas and Florida get the right draw, they could be Sweet 16 teams, but they could easily not be either. They could easily be teams that lose in the first round. So I'd probably go
Missouri.
Missouri's good. They're the team that's interesting. I'd probably go under, but it'd be close. 1.5's the right number.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
because I do think Alabama's a Sweet 16 team, and then I think there are 3 teams that are capable of getting there. So that's probably the right number.
I just need this academic sports year to be up, man, because Alabama enjoying it too much. It is too hard over here, man. And man, let me switch the subject right quick. I know I got this broke foot, but man, last Friday I'm going through the Wendy's line. I'm handing the lady my change, and Neal, you almost made me break my neck, man.
What'd I do?
All I hear you say is the Chase, they should beat Auburn. And talking about the Ole Miss football schedule, I'm like, what? I do think that. Hold on.
I do think that. I think they should.
Now, okay, look. Could or should?
Well, they definitely could. Definitely could. And And coming off of the season where home field didn't matter, and going into another season where home field is going to matter, but it probably won't matter as much as it usually does. Look, I hope every stadium is jam-packed full, but I'm gonna believe it when I see it.
Okay.
Ole Miss is in second year with the coaching staff. Auburn's in year one. Auburn's had some defections. Auburn's got a loaded lineup. I get it. Ole Miss is better at quarterback.
Yes, I would give you that. I would give you that.
And I just think it's a game. If you go back and look at Ole Miss's season this past year, they were in every single game, and I think they're going to be I think they're going to be right there with Auburn, very similar kind of teams. And in those deals, give me the quarterback.
Okay, let me challenge you a little bit.
Sure.
Who replaces Elijah Moore's production?
Oh, that's a great question.
No one person.
Not one person. I mean, I think they've already gotten into the transfer portal a little bit. I think they're going to get into the transfer portal for a tight end. I think they're going to use Jerrion Ely in a lot of ways that they used Elijah Moore a year ago. Now, he won't be as effective a wide receiver, but he's still a weapon. Snoop Connor stayed. Henry Parrish will be a sophomore. I think Plumlee's going to be a slot guy. So, again, I'm not saying there's one guy who's as good as Elijah because I don't think there is. But I do think by committee they can put up similar numbers. Braylon Sanders came back. So you got the deep threat over the top.
So do you think Ole Miss would beat Auburn in 2021 regardless of who's coaching Auburn, whether it's Gus or Brian Harsin?
Yeah, frankly, I think Auburn having Harsin makes them
more beatable right now. But in year one.
No, I think Harsin being there makes Auburn more dangerous than it would have been had Gus stayed. Because I think had Gus stayed another year, I would have said, yeah, this is a game that I think Ole Miss will win. Because I think there would be a malaise there. I mean, Auburn's going to get that adrenaline that you get from a first-year coach.
And, man, see, look, okay, the spring is going to be so interesting. Like, I think more than any year ever, the spring football and, 8A games and spring games, whatever, teams call them, are going to be more interesting and more intriguing than ever. But, man, we always talk about how this is a X's and O players league. And I'm going to ask you this. If you could put the truth serum in Kiffin, and we say to Kiffin, all right, man, look, you can either have your roster right now that you have Ole Miss with all the incoming players that you're going to have with this recruiting class, or you can have the Auburn roster. You can't, with their incoming recruiting class, you can't say, hey, let me keep Matt Corral and take some of these guys. You got to have either one of them or all of them. Which one do you think he'd choose?
Oh, I think he'd be really close. I think he'd go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And I don't, because of the pandemic, we haven't gotten to know Kiffin in a way that you normally would know a coach after a year. I mean, we kind of see what you see. We get to talk to him, but it's a different deal. I think he is so quarterback-oriented that he would take his roster and roll the dice. There's no question that Auburn's got more defensive talent. Auburn's got a tremendous running back. I think he thinks he has one too.
And as much as Grind doesn't like him, Auburn has more depth on the offensive line.
Yeah, and Auburn's got more margin for error up front on the offensive line than Ole Miss does.
Well, and now see, look,
I think in the end he'd go with his quarterback.
Saying this during the season last year, but it was when I had called and I was talking about how Auburn is just we average as grits. And Ole Miss was average too, but they was average because the offense was real good and the defense was real bad. But I had said at the end of the day, I think I would rather be, Auburn good because your variance is less, and I think that gives you a chance to win more games.
Yeah.
And it turns out that Auburn went 6-4, and had Ole Miss played A&M, I think we can all agree that they would have lost to A&M.
Oh, absolutely.
And would have went
absolutely.
And would have went 4-6. And so I'm not finna 100% agree with you and say that Ole Miss. I'm not finna say Ole Miss should be. I think that little piece of schedule that y'all emphasized that Arkansas, LSU, Auburn, I forgot, in that Tennessee, that little stretch right there. I think that's gonna be real interesting.
Mm-hmm.
To see if Ole Miss, because I think the way y'all was pushing it is that Ole Miss can come out of that thing unscathed. But I think more than likely, if I had if I have $1,000 and let's say I got Ole Miss can either go 0-4, 1-3, 2-2 or 3-1 or 4-0. If I could split my money up either way, I would probably put the most money. I would probably put 500 on 2-2, and then I put 250. Or I put 300 on 3-1, and then I put the rest on them going 4-0. I know for sure they at least win two of those 4.
Yeah. So
I mean, the first 2 are by far the easier ones. Then you got 2 weeks where you got to buckle up. I mean, just from a talent standpoint. I mean, it's Arkansas at home. The stretch we're talking about here for everybody.
And we can't deny the game plan that Mariota put against Matt
no,
Crowder,
of course, of course,
and the fact that you take out and that you take out Elijah Moore for Ole Miss. Going into that game plan now, I just think
let me tell you this about Arkansas though, and this kid did not get enough credit from us, from anyone.
Mm-hmm.
Felipe Franks did not get enough credit for the season he had with Arkansas. If you go back and watch them, Felipe Franks made their offense respectable, sustainable. I don't know that they have a quarterback on their roster. It's KJ Jefferson.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
it's KJ Jefferson or Cade Renfro at quarterback for them. I mean, I was talking to someone at Arkansas who's inside the building every day.
It's one of those 2 dudes
right now. And Felipe Franks.
So a guy Ole Miss didn't recruit, and a guy Ole Miss basically cut.
Hey, did you watch Felipe Franks in the Senior Bowl?
Yeah.
He threw a touchdown pass to Kenny Yeboah. Felipe Franks is going to get a cup of coffee in an NFL training camp. You're replacing a guy. Felipe Franks has some physical talent, guys. I mean, Felipe Franks damn near beat Auburn. He who else? It was the other team that they kind of got screwed against. I mean, they almost beat Missouri. I mean, it wasn't him. It was KJ Jefferson, but Felipe Franks made them. He changed the landscape for Arkansas. Anyway, I think that's a game that Ole Miss wins. I think Ole Miss beats Arkansas fairly easily this year.
Then at Tennessee, and then LSU at Auburn. That's the 4 we're talking about.
At Tennessee's a win. LSU and Auburn are tough.
I don't believe in LSU quarterback, man. I know he threw for a bunch of yards against Ole Miss, but he looked like
Johnson.
Who was Jared Lee? He reminded me so much of Jared Lee. When I just watched him play, I forgot the Max Johnson kid.
Yeah, I thought he distributed well. I didn't necessarily think he had some type of game that could go out and just beat you by himself.
Yeah.
I thought he didn't make mistakes. He showed a pretty good maturity for a freshman.
But see, here's the deal.
Didn't do anything stupid.
If Ole Miss had an average defense this past season,
oh boy,
they beat Auburn, they beat LSU. Now that's what I'm gambling on from my perspective. It's the reason I'm picking 9-3. I think Ole Miss is losing to Alabama.
A&M.
I think Ole Miss is losing to A&M, and then I think Ole Miss is losing one of the games that we're talking about.
Okay.
LSU, Auburn. That might be it.
And I'm contemplating 8-4 or 9-3. I think it's possible because it's a program where they could lose another one.
Okay. But see, and Neal, I was gonna say I get it from your standpoint because when everybody ever asks you about the over-under on Lane Kiffin, 23 months in Oxford, you always say under.
Yep.
And that under has to involve him having 2 good seasons. So, this, in order for you to stay consistent with that 23 or under, you can't say, I think they'll probably be 7-5 or something like that.
Well, no, I've told Chase. I've told Chase this. If you told me that Lane Kiffin's still the coach at Ole Miss in say 5-6 years, I would tell you, wow, so they were a consistent 7.5, 8-win program. I mean, I think the scenario that's more likely is that he has a 9 or a 10-win season and leaves.
Now, see, I think Ole Miss can if I predict anything, I think they can backdoor their way into 10 wins. I think that's possible.
Sure.
Going to 9-3, getting to the bowl game. But my last thing was, and I'm gonna get this off the air. If you had the football guys came down to y'all and said either one of these 2 scenarios will be the championship game, and you have to bet on either one of them, happening. And the choices are either a rematch with Alabama and Florida or Texas A&M and Georgia. Which one would you bet on? And like I said, enjoy the show, man, and I get it off there.
Thank you.
Let it run.
Ooh.
I mean, I'm sticking with Alabama. Whomever they're playing, I'm sticking with Alabama.
I think that's my answer too. I do think Georgia's better than Florida.
I do.
But no, I'm not.
I have to do that. I've got to say A&M loses either.
You have to say A&M
beats Bama and loses twice, or you know what I mean? Like no,
or Alabama loses twice.
That's what I meant. Yeah.
No, they're so good.
Yeah.
Hey, who do we have?
Hey, y'all, it's D from Memphis.
D?
D.
What's up?
Hey, D, what's up?
Hey, man, I had a question. Me and my friends been going back and forth on this like all week. We like split like right at 50-50. Who do y'all think had the better season? Matt Corral 2020 or Chad Kelly 2015?
Chad Kelly in 2015. He had the third most total offensive yards in SEC history, behind Johnny Manziel's two games.
And he didn't have the terrible game and a half that Matt had this past season.
Yeah, I mean, Matt lost 2 games.
Hey, I don't disagree with y'all at all. But, like, half my friends are telling me that, like, it doesn't matter because Matt Corral had a higher quarterback rating, yada, yada, yada. And he threw for more passing yards in 3 less games. I don't necessarily believe that. I can see how they can come to that conclusion, but he literally, like y'all said, he literally lost 2 games.
Well, he lost 1 for sure, and then he dug him a hole against LSU. Now, he played a second.
They scored 48 points.
He was phenomenal in the second half, and he was not the reason they lost the game. But Kelly's season that year was more consistent than what Matt did. Now, if you told me that Matt Corral had a better season in 2021 than Kelly had in 2015, I'd buy it.
Yeah. Yeah, I 100% agree with that because I think that he's capable of having a better season. Now, with that being said, and another thing they were saying is that basically Chad Kelly had LaQuan Treadwell, a better offensive line, and Evan Ingram.
That's fair.
You know, he definitely had a better offensive line. I mean, he had Treadwell, but that's not the same Treadwell in 15. That's after the injury.
Yeah.
I mean, Elijah Moore is the more explosive player.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. In fact, Treadwell in 15 had become kind of a possession receiver at times.
He was physical still, but he did not have the breakaway speed that you expected.
Ingram was a stud that year.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I agree. And Kenny Aboya honestly had more yards than Treadwell than Evan Ingram did in 15.
Yeah, it was different.
Is that like through the offensive scheme? Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I don't think that you can necessarily I don't think you can give Matt Corral all this credit when your head coach is throwing out touchdown signals before the play starts.
Yeah, I mean, look, the coaching, the offensive coaching in 2020 was better than the offensive coaching in 2015. And I'm not knocking Freeze when I do that, but the Lebby-Kiffin combination is pretty good.
Cool. All right, I'm about to record this and sit down and loop to all my friends who said otherwise.
All right. Cool. Talk to you later. Bye.
All right, appreciate it.
Still 2 minutes to go in the third quarter. It's 107-95.
Well, they're doing such a good job on Luka. Just making him work. If Golden State had Klay Thompson, they'd be dangerous. They can create offense, man. They get shots.
You gonna make Carson some wings or something for the Super Bowl on Sunday?
Yeah, I meant to ask you what's your. So I'm gonna smoke wings. I think I'm gonna go to LB's, get some sausages, make a sausage.
Just kind of a thing.
Yeah. You know my opinion on this. I think the Monday after Super Bowl Sunday should be a federal holiday.
You do. Yeah, you've got 150 million people.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, we all celebrate.
We do a lot of dumb holidays.
Well, even the people who don't like football like the Super Bowl.
It's a social activity.
How many people go to a Super Bowl party and have no idea?
But they'll grab a square on the board.
Yeah, they have no idea who's playing in the game, nor do they care. They're there for the party.
But yeah, the percentage of people that actually really care who wins the Super Bowl, who are at Super Bowl parties, is less than 10%.
Of course.
You're betting on the game, or you just happen to be a fan of a team by some dumb luck.
Yeah, but for the most part, you're going because it's an American thing.
We're going to eat and drink.
Why we don't celebrate that as a country in an official capacity is beyond me.
Close the banks.
Yes.
Whole deal.
Let people have a day to recover.
Or play it on Saturday.
Now,
see.
And then people recover. But they've marketed Super Sunday.
Yeah, for a long time.
So it's kind of like, what do we do?
I'm sure that's trademarked.
And I'm sure they could get Super Saturday, but that doesn't have the same. Because you think NFL, you think Sunday.
You do.
I get why they haven't come off that as much as it would make sense. Hey, who do we have?
This is Cheese in Dallas. How are y'all doing tonight?
What's up, Cheese? What are you doing for the Super Bowl?
don't have any plans actually at this point, but we'll see.
What's going on?
What? Nothing much. Quick question. If you're on death row,
okay.
Last drink, what is it and where is it from? And then from there, you can go to the obvious last meal, but more curious, the drink and where it's from.
Okay.
Yeah, I would not be able to actually eat.
No, I wouldn't either.
Like, I would have no appetite.
I'd want the alcohol, I would think.
So number one drink, where is it from?
I'm thinking.
Are you having a cocktail or are you having a bourbon?
I'm having a cocktail. I'm having a Sazerac, and I'm picking out which restaurant or what bar I actually want it from. But no, I'm having a Sazerac, and probably from somewhere in New Orleans. I mean, because it sounds really cliche to go, the Sazerac bar in the Waldorf, as much as that was one of the first things that popped into my mind.
Okay.
Dark leather bar, just the whole ambience of that kind of sticks out to me. Maybe a Manhattan at the Carousel bar, something like that. That's just kind of a couple things off the top of my head.
There's a whiskey bar on Rush in Chicago that I absolutely love, and there's a place, believe it or not, in Fayetteville called the Vault.
Okay.
That has a phenomenal cocktail menu. I probably would get an old fashioned from one of those two places, or maybe even St. Leo in Oxford.
Yeah, sure.
One of those three places, I would want an old fashioned, best bourbon they have.
Old fashioned, a good choice. Chase, just to follow up, favorite restaurant in New Orleans since you broached the subject.
If we're talking about just simply what have I had the most consistent meals at over and over and over and over again, Pesh.
Good choice.
That's what I would go with. I mean, I've had like that one, the meal that maybe you remember somewhere else, but I've been at Pesh a lot, and every time very, very solid. That's what I would do.
What's your go-to dish?
The grilled redfish, the whole grilled redfish.
Not on the half shell, but the whole.
Yeah, the whole fish.
The whole fish.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, that's it. And the seafood tower.
All right, y'all have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you, Cheese. What are you doing for Thanksgiving? I mean, not Thanksgiving. Super Bowl.
I mean, I have no plans. I said that about you, but I mean, smoked wings really did sound really good.
Yeah.
I mean, that was kind of like, that's.
I love smoked wings. In some ways, I like them better than fried wings. And for last meal, if you told me I had to have a last meal and in that setting, I might just pick wings because I love.
They could be fried though on the last one.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Go ahead, put whatever sauce you want.
Whatever you want to do. No, I'm not moving to Northwest Arkansas, but they do have some cool places up there. I like it up there. It's a fun place to visit. I have total anonymity. It's kind of fun.
You have anonymity right now. You never know. I mean,
yeah, I have it here too, but up there, truly nobody knows who the hell I am. It's kind of fun. And if anybody asks, I'd use my brother's identity, so it's even better.
Travis, I don't know. I would not be shocked by anything from 0-3 to 3-0, to be honest.
And it won't. And the truth is,
it doesn't matter
with those RPIs. It won't matter.
No, go ahead.
The losses won't hurt you, and the wins will be great.
Yeah, they're not going to sweep, and they're not going to get swept. I think they'll go 1-2 or 2-1. I mean, off the top of my head, pitching matchup wise, I think they have an advantage on Friday. I think they have a disadvantage on Sunday, and I think Saturday is the swing game. I think Gunnar Hoagland against Texas Tech on Saturday is appointment freaking viewing. I think that's the game of the weekend by far.
Yeah.
Maybe in the whole tournament. Because sheer ability, Hoagland is Ole Miss's ace. Now, Nikhazy much stronger mentally. I mean, he's your dog. But Hoagland against Texas Tech on Saturday is pretty good.
Who's the Sunday guy, Diamond?
Derek Diamond, yeah. I mean, we just haven't seen him much, I mean,
yeah.
He pitched really well against, I guess, Indiana. He pitched pretty well against Louisville in the opening weekend last year. But, you just want to see a little more from him. I think that's the deal. Is you've only got 4 starts of work.
If you had to live in an SEC town, name your top 7 SEC towns.
Not top what?
Top 7 SEC towns to live in.
Top 7.
Yeah.
Okay, let's rule some out. I'm ruling out Baton Rouge, Starkville, and Knoxville.
Agreed, and yeah.
Okay, I'm ruling out Gainesville.
Yes, out.
And I'm ruling out Tuscaloosa.
Yes, out.
So that's 5.
So the ones I'm ruling in no particular order.
Sure.
Oxford, Athens,
Fayetteville,
Auburn, Nashville, because Nashville's cool.
That's 5. Okay, so we have left Missouri,
I'm ruling College Station out.
Carolina. Yeah, they're out. Yeah, you're right.
Lexington's in.
Yeah. So we're down to the 2 Columbias, splitting it both ways.
So give me South Carolina because I like it.
Okay, yeah. Yeah. I'm a little iffy there, but I think I'm with you.
Yeah.
I'm contemplating Columbia, Missouri, but I think I'm with you. Weather, if nothing else.
Columbia, South Carolina, the little restaurant district downtown's pretty good.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, Lexington's for sure in, actually. That's one I wish was in the West.
Lexington's sneaky.
I would be if we could trade Lexington and Tuscaloosa, go ahead and have at it. I'll take.
We don't talk about Lexington enough. It's a sneaky
because we don't go.
I know, but it's a sneaky cool town.
I ever told you I was in a bar in Lexington the night they lost to West Virginia in the NCAA tournament Elite 8. Talk about some people having really rough nights. That was the Wall DeMarcus Cousins Kentucky team.
Oh yeah,
that lost to Huggins in the Elite 8, and I was in Lexington for baseball. Ole Miss was up there that weekend, and I mean,
it was rough.
Oh, dude, you're talking. I mean, it would be like Birmingham, Alabama losing the. Yeah, I mean, it was a bad night in Lexington.
Grind is surprised by us picking Lexington over T-Town. I am not a Tuscaloosa fan at all.
I can't stand it. Nope.
It does nothing for me.
Yeah,
nothing for me.
Not even a thought.
I mean, there's no. Not my place. I mean, I'll give them this. Their football game day stuff is off the charts great.
Yeah, sure.
But
it's number one right now, game day, actually.
Yeah. The town, no. I'm fine without it.
I don't know if this is even a really hard discussion because I'm trying to think about it. Most of those are just in without even a thought. And the ones that are out are pretty much out without a thought.
The ones that are just in, no thinking about it, it's the ones we named right off the top. There's like the 6. Those are cool towns. I like those towns.
There's probably a better Knoxville than I've seen. That's the one that I at least would allow you to prove to me a little bit. Knoxville? I just don't know.
Yeah.
I've only been 2 or 3 times, and I haven't really tried to go around much.
I'm sure it's better than what I think it is.
Yeah. I got rid of Baton Rouge, just people and traffic and whatever. It would be miserable, I think, doing a day-to-day in Baton Rouge.
What was the name of that restaurant in Auburn I told you about?
Acre.
It's
Acre.
Wow. Auburn's in the top 7 with that alone.
Yeah. Oh, Auburn would be really high for me.
That place, that was amazing. That's the best charcuterie board I've ever had.
A random thing.
Phew. It was so good. So I ate at a place in Fayetteville with Campbell on Saturday night.
Uh-huh.
Vetro 1925.
Okay.
Excellent.
Okay. What was it?
It was Italian. But I had scallops and some sort of a pasta. It was really, really good.
Yeah, I would not even contemplate Knoxville over Nashville.
No.
Oh, sorry.
No, sorry.
I can't even have that discussion with you.
Someone says Tuscaloosa is close to the beach.
No.
4 to 5 hours.
It's not Mobile.
No.
It's a minute.
Yeah, Athens is definitely in the mix. I mean, Athens is in the mix for the top city in the league.
Yeah,
for sure.
No
question.
Yeah. No, it's hard to differentiate between some of those at the top.
Yeah, because it depends on what you're looking for and stuff.
Are we entertainment? Are we trying to live? What are we doing? Yeah.
I think it was where would you want to live?
It was live.
Yeah. Because if it's for a weekend, it's a lot of different places, and maybe that's where if you want to live. Como would be ahead of Columbia, South Carolina. Columbia, South Carolina, I like to visit there. I wouldn't
want to live there.
I don't know that I've ever given much thought to living there. Says Travis has named the top 3 since 7's too easy. I don't know.
That's hard.
You get into some different deals there.
I'm a small town person. I'm just not going to live in a city unless I'm really getting paid to do it. So I'm getting into that. I would have the really hard time the Oxford, Athens, Fayetteville, kind of Auburn. That's those 4 for me. That's my 4 that I got to eliminate somebody, and I'd have to figure it out.
I think those are my 4 too. Fayetteville reminds me a lot of Oxford, just bigger. It's a bigger Oxford, but there's a lot of similarities.
I mean, we've had this conversation 1,000 times, and now you've been there a ton.
Yeah.
Fayetteville is always really good. It's just if it was an hour and a half closer, my mental would be better hey.
So we've got where I can do that drive in 5.5, which just isn't that bad.
Starkville does have a couple really good restaurants, but no thanks. I'm good.
Ryan Kelly says, would I move to a professional sports city if the pay was the same and adjusted for cost of living? I don't know. When I was younger, yeah, sure. Today, probably not. 15 years ago, for sure, absolutely.
Starkville is cheaper. That's true.
It just
cost of living.
I just don't like it. And I don't have the whole Ole Miss State thingy. Yeah. It does nothing for me. Like, I would pick Baton Rouge over Starkville.
Yeah, I mean, look, Starkville's low. I would pick College Station over Starkville.
Yeah.
I mean, it's wood.
I think I'd put Starkville last.
I'm having a hard time coming up with the better.
The one that's worse.
Yeah. No, Baton Rouge is higher. College Station's higher. I haven't spent enough time to fully know Gainesville, but I don't like it.
It does nothing for me. But now I think from amenities, quality of life, you'd probably pick Gainesville.
I mean, like Restaurant Tyler's a really good restaurant in Starkville. Like, they've got a couple places that are all right. They've done a good job. They just don't have a ton to work with.
It's a little too rural for me.
Well, and again, when you don't see it, you got to really go and be there to even see, because if you go to the stadium and everything, you're just seeing highway. Like, there's no personality. You're not getting into the town.
Well, I'll give you an example. You mentioned Fayetteville, and I have been there a lot.
Yeah, sure.
What I like about Fayetteville, it's the same thing what I like about Oxford, is that it's got just enough kind of funky to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's got a little different to it.
There's some eclectic.
Eclectic's the right word. I don't ever sense that in Starkville.
No, it's very mono.
Yeah, when you're in Fayetteville, it's got eclectic's the right word. Oxford has eclectic to it. It's
literary and university and
Georgia's eclectic. Yeah, Athens is eclectic as hell.
I mean, it's Austin Light.
It's awesome. Yeah,
yeah.
And I like that in a college town. I want to go to a college town and it feel different, have a different vibe to it. I don't want. It's like going to a restaurant.
That is a good point. You go to Starkville and you feel like, hey, they just put the university in Pontotoc. No offense to Pontotoc people, but it's like,
it's the restaurant deal. If I tell you, hey, we're going to go out to eat tonight.
Yeah.
Okay. If I say, hey, we're going to go out to eat tonight, it's going to be fun, and I take you to Chili's, you're going to be like, oh, come on. But if we're just driving down the interstate on a 10-hour drive, and I'm like, hey, we're going to stop at this Chili's, everybody's hungry, you're like, okay, cool, it's fine.
Sure. Yeah.
That's kind of what I don't know if that makes any sense, but that's kind of what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
When I go to an Oxford, if I go to Auburn, if I go to Fayetteville, if I go to Athens, I'm going to get a little different feel.
Yeah.
Than if I'm in Pontotoc.
Yeah, Grind. That's a huge part. I mean, that you just don't see anything in Starkville. Like, you come in, you go to the game, everything's right there.
Go straight to the stadium. And it's right there, and then
park 14 miles away and walk, and you're
you park and you get back to your car at 4:30 in the morning. And
the golf cart had a flat when we left the last time. They were not helpful. They were not in a good mood.
They were not. Ole Miss had just spoiled the Dak Prescott night.
They were not happy.
Is that the last time we went?
No, was it? We not been since then?
We didn't go to the Matt Luke last game.
We did not. So.
And then, we didn't go to either of the Matt Luke last games.
19 or 17.
Yeah, so it's been since 15.
We haven't been to the Egg Bowl since
we had such a traumatic experience that we didn't go back.
Was that really that night?
I think so.
Oh, it was. It was that night.
Yeah.
Yeah, the golf cart, the media cart had a flat, And they did not really appear to want to fix it, so he just walked all the way back over to that.
That was forever.
Yeah.
That was not good.
It was cold.
It was not good.
We didn't have as much ice cream as some others, so we made it a little better. But
yeah, that's never been my.
Neal didn't eat the muscadine ripple.
Yeah, well, watch people rave about that. I'm like, I don't get it. It's 27 degrees. Why are you eating ice cream? And if you're eating ice cream, why are you eating that ice cream?
Everything else about the experience is dead last in the SEC. It sucks. The best dessert in the SEC is Vanderbilt has gelato in the football press box.
Oh, it's true.
They do.
It's true.
Vanderbilt has gelato in the press box. It's phenomenal. But everything else about the Vanderbilt football press box experience is by far the worst in the league, including the SID cheering over your shoulder.
And the last time I went to a Vanderbilt game there, it was so cold, and the coffee was so bad. It's like, how bad can you screw up just coffee? Can you not
instant, wasn't it?
It was awful. It was frustrating. Tuscaloosa does good press box food. LSU does great press box food.
Has Larry retired?
Yeah, he retired.
He did retire?
He did.
I'm glad before he had a heart attack.
No, Will says, did I fear for my life in that stadium like another journalist said he did? No, I did not fear for my life.
Yeah, best press box food is Auburn, Athens, Baton Rouge.
Vanderbilt baseball.
Yep. But because they cater it in. It's just catered every game.
It's great.
MLB package.
Yeah, that was awesome.
That was really what got Neal. I mean, we say all that, but it was really the MLB package.
Yeah, the MLB package.
Well, because it was like the ninth, like Verlander had a no-hitter going into like the ninth or something.
And I was like, hey, we heard it, and the Vanderbilt guy was like, yeah, we'll turn it on. I'm like,
like,
oh, cool. This is awesome.
It tells you that really Vanderbilt doesn't do that. It's just Tim Corbin doing that. And it's like, okay, it
was well done.
Well, Mike's been pretty good about that over the years. Like we don't really complain, but we just kind of give words of like, hey, can we? So we've gotten meal tickets extended on more money to make sure we can get a full meal. We've gotten a microwave. We've got coffee pots. Like Mike is, like you just kind of plant the seed, and then suddenly some things get done. So it's all right.
That's good.
Yeah. So anyway,
all right. Chase has an interview with Carl Lafferty, speaking of baseball. It's about 25 minutes or so. That's up on the site. I don't know whether he's going to put that in this podcast or not. I've got
either way, whatever we want.
I'll have SEC Football and Beyond with Chris Landry tomorrow. Carson and I taped Chasing the Ring. If you have a hankering for 45 minutes of NBA, all of that's there. We'll have Ole Miss Auburn basketball coverage. It's 3 o'clock on Saturday. I'm planning to do 10 Thoughts on Sunday. There's a pretty big NFL game on Sunday, so 10 Thoughts will either be early or it'll be super late. So one or the other. So anyway, for Chase Parham, I'm Neal McCready. That does it. We'll be back with an Oxford Exxon podcast on Monday. Until then, have a great weekend. Enjoy the Super Bowl. Take care.